Because I like forgot the actual facts. I'm gonna look it up.
Sorry, what was the animal fact? Hey, everybody.
So last week, my like ADHD came in hot with like, did you know that sloths are faster in water than they are on land because they live in environments where sometimes they have to get across a river and they just swim on over, and they're super strong swimmers. And I looked up last week like how fast they can swim relative to like, I don't know, crawling, I guess. And I think it was like 3 times as fast. But then I also learned that they can be underwater for up to 40 minutes and hold their breath.
This has got to be like a recurring segment now where we just have random animal facts before we start the show. So for everybody watching live,
we start the show and it's just
we're all going to be
in the middle of Kristine.
I mean, like, I didn't bring any animal facts, but I can Google them.
Maybe each week we learn one new fact about a sloth, because that's like at least like we'll gain like a really well-rounded understanding of them. So now we know they can swim faster and they can hold their breath underwater for up to 40 minutes.
All right, I think I'm ready to go.
Start the recording now.
Yeah. Yeah, show's over, everybody. See ya.
This is what's left over in my brain after a day with children.
I feel ya.
Just
all right,
chip away at my sanity.
Let me go ahead and hit record. No, I gotta move that over. Okay. All right, recording. Everybody ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. In week 2 in 3, 2. Welcome to the FRC Top 25 for week 2 of Crescendo. We have a fresh set of 25 teams that's voted on by you, the community, with hundreds of votes coming in. We really appreciate everybody who has voted and contributed to the FRC Top 25. We get a lot of great stuff to cover as well, too. We'll showcase our top 50 on that list. Talk about our snubs. There's some really big snubs this week as well, too, so we can't wait to get into them. And, of course, some great giveaways as well, too, from our suppliers. So let's hop in to the FRC Top 25. This video on fun is brought to you by viewers like you and also in partnership with the following. Discover how Kettering University students engineer their success with Kettering's amazing co-op employment programs where students earn great pay and gain valuable experience. Those accepted into Kettering University can apply for a robotics scholarship, providing up to an additional $5,000 a year in tuition assistance. Head on over to kettering.edu/first to learn more and apply. Support Fun's content creators when you sign up for a membership on YouTube Join. You'll get access to special perks like emotes, loyalty badges, and Fun members will even get early access to our scheduled videos and more. 100% of this revenue will go back to our correspondents to help recognize their efforts. Click the join button in any YouTube video to pledge your support. And welcome to the FRC Top 25 for week 2 of Crescendo. For first updates now, I'm Tyler Olds.
I'm Kristine Tia.
I'm Ari McMahon.
And I'm Justin Montoya. So, Kristine, we can continue with some sloth facts if you would like. But congrats to 125 on your double gold cling bling this weekend. That was awesome. So you want to give us a quick rundown of kind of how week 2 went for you guys, and then we can kind of go around the horn here and everyone can share.
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, so pretty huge event for us on the Neutrons. We had a few gremlins at first during the event, like thinking back on it. Because it's only Tuesday, but we definitely hit some issues, and the team really pushed through it and worked through it. And it was a tough event. Like there were some really top tier teams that were totally dialed in. So we were really nervous that we weren't going to be able to clinch, one of those top spots. But I think by the end of Sunday, or not by the end of Sunday, but by, like our last match on Sunday for quals, like we really felt good. The students felt like they had auto dialed in. They felt like, some of the issues with notes getting stuck got figured out. And, we got our 6-note auto dialed in, which was really wild to see. So it was really cool too. Like we were able to show up and like hit it on the field and then hit it in the impact. I almost said submissions, but interviews. That's where my brain is today. But the kids worked really hard. It all paid off. Then yeah, it was kind of an insane start to the season. So thank you.
Congratulations.
And I know you guys are getting ready for your next event, Justin and Ari, like crazy. You guys are already hitting the field again.
Yeah, Ari,
yeah, we already played.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So we already played week 1 on 8085, and we had a lot of things that we wanted to tune and perfect on our robot. Specifically, I know a lot of teams have been having trouble with trap scoring. We were one of them. We were 100% off field and 0% on it. So we have contributed a lot of our effort this week into really just tuning that and our autos and getting ready for University of Rhode Island District this weekend. So that'll be really exciting. Justin, I know you're competing too. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, we're headed to Finger Lakes for our second event of the season. It's our home event, so we're very excited about that. Obviously, Pittsburgh didn't go the way that we wanted, so we just primarily focus on driver practice and some different autos that hopefully we'll get a chance to show on the field this week. But we're very excited to get back on the field, shake off some of the gremlins from Pittsburgh, and hopefully show what a robot is capable of.
Awesome. Well, week 2, I got a chance to go to First Minute Atlantic for the first time ever. It was so awesome to meet a lot of you out there. So thank you for everybody who came and said hi. I have to admit, going in, I wasn't sure like how, if I came in, what it would exactly be like and stuff. And everybody was extremely hospitable. It was awesome. I really enjoyed the time out there. Never been to an FMA event before. I'd love to go back sometime. It was great. So thank you to everybody that was super awesome at those events. I know Seneca, I didn't get too long to stay there because I had to leave for my flight. But Allentown, I got to chill with a lot of people all day, get some great teams for interviews. We got a couple at Seneca as well, too. So we have some of those coming out already. I think we had one from Allentown and Seneca for interviews come out already as well, too. We had a bunch of other correspondents submit content this past week from all around the FRC world, including in Turkey as well, too, which is awesome. So it's kind of cool to have local correspondents filming those. And then in week 3, I'm heading out to Central Illinois Regional for Thursday, Friday, and then the Wisconsin Regional for Saturday. Probably not Sunday, but just Saturday. So I get to stay local for once as well. So if you are at any of the events that any of us are at, please come say hi. We'd love to talk and talk about fun, your team, anything like that as well, too. Would be fantastic. So with that said, before we get into the FRC Top 25, just a reminder, especially for those joining us for the first time, you're going to see some stats on the FRC Top 25 that we utilize. The main stat is our community poll, which is strictly based on what you all voted. Thank you, everybody. We had a great turnout this week, and not a lot of things flagged this week, which is great as well, too. So thank you, everybody, for your submissions, for staying true to things as well. It's really good. And the more we get, the more kind of balanced out our rankings get. They're never going to be perfect, right? There's 3,800 FRC teams, right? And like 1,200 competing this week. So there's no way we're ever going to get everybody out there. But that's why we have the snubs of the week. That's why we want to hear from you in chat. And of course, in YouTube comments after on the video as well. And what teams you thought should have made the top 25. And don't forget to vote every single week. Sundays opening in the afternoon. It will be open by 5 p.m. Eastern, sometimes before. And it'll always close around 5 p.m. Eastern on Monday. So only for about 24 hours out there as well, too. So a couple last things. You're going to see some stats as well, too, from our friends at Statbotics, who created the EPA as well. So you see some different stats on there in regards to their total EPA, autonomous, tele-up, endgame, that sort of thing as well, too, just to add some extra stats. Those don't determine anything with the rankings at all. It's strictly based on community vote. So keep that in mind as well, too. One other side note, too, just because of how how our weekly cycles work versus what FIRST is sometimes, ISR 3 and 4 in Israel were eligible for this week's voting, as well as the Smoky Mountains region as well, too, because those are all like midweek events. So those teams were eligible, which we'll definitely see some teams from that list as well, too. So with that said, we got 25 teams to go into. Ari, let's jump into week 2, the FRC Top 25. Who you got?
Speaking of ISR number 3, let's start off with out of Hazafon, Israel. It's 1574 Miskar. With a record of 23-12-0, they are currently 7th in the Israel district, and they were the 2nd seed and finalists at ISR district number 3. 1574 built an excellent machine this year, and despite some mechanical and programming gremlins through much of their first event this season, they powered through to be one of the top contenders heading into the late season in what's shaping up to be a very competitive Israeli district this season. 1574 starts the match with a 4.5 note auto, scoring all 4 in the wing and then heading out to grab the edge amp side note. They follow this with a consistent teleop period where they shoot from the podium and closer quite consistently. The only misses from Miskar are in their name. This robot has shown that if it can reach their potential this season, and I am really excited to see them compete next when they probably can. So congrats on your season so far, 1574, and we'll see them next at the Israeli District Championship in just 1 week from today in week 4.
I can't believe the ISR championships are like so early and stuff like that. It'll be great because that's so cool to see it love through. By the way, I don't know about you all, but every time I hear Miskar, I always think of like the game announcers like Miskar, like because they say like where they're from, like that's what always pops in my head every single time I hear Miskar.
Yeah, it's so exciting that they have their district championship next week because they're so competitive too. So it'll be really cool to see like literally next week that high level of play.
Yeah, you get like week 5, week 6 competition in week 3, right? Which is pretty dope.
Yeah, it's always jarring as like, somebody who's not pacing their season like that to be like, oh, wow, their district champs is happening. Like, oh, wow, their district champs is happening.
Yeah.
Like,
I really love it, though, because then, for them, for a team that has to, these teams have to crate their robots and ship them over super early, at least it gives them hopefully a little bit of time to work on their robot before they actually have to ship it out.
Absolutely. So with that, we'll move to our 24 spot. Out of Houston, Texas, and St. Agnes Academy and Strink Jesuit College Prep, it's Open Alliance Team 3847 Spectrum. Currently 4th in the 1st in Texas district with a record of 16-1-0, they ranked 1st and won the Fit Belton district. Spectrum's build blog and resources have helped so many teams this season, and it was so great to see them on here. Their robot uses an arm on an elevator to aim for the speaker and amp consistently. Spectrum starts the match off with a 5-note auto from between the subwoofer and the podium, and followed it with the highest OPR teleop scoring at their event. They truly have like this innate sense of where notes are on the field, and they're able to pick them up with their quick under the bumper intake like every single time. If there's a note on the field, they will find it. So congrats on the win, and we'll see them next as they continue to post updates and upgrades to their build thread and on the week 4 field at the Houston district.
Yeah, Spectrum obviously a very influential team in the community. Ari, like you said, with all the work they do with the Open Alliance as well too. So definitely one of the most viewed threads on Chief Delphi like ever for things as well. So doing a lot of good out there. Cool to see them on the top 25 and getting some good recognition after a great week 1 event for them.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see how they tune their trap mechanism too. I know they didn't really hit it at this event, so we'll get to see them go through and actually tune how they're going to do that, and I hope that really influences how teams think about it. Okay, cool. Okay, we're going to head up to number 23, where we find no stranger to our top 25. Out of Mountain Home, Arkansas, and Mountain Home High School Career Academy, it's Hall of Fame Team 16 Bomb Squad. With a record of 16-1-0, they were the first rank and winners at the Arkansas Regional. 16 uses a modified version of the Cranberry Alarm archetype, panning off from an over-the-bumper collector to a horizontal shooter. With one of the most interesting 4.5-note autos, 16 paths almost in reverse of what we've seen so far. They go out to the middle of the field before they shoot the 3 nodes that are actually within the wing. They follow with this with some short feeding cycles followed by quick amplified shots from just off the podium. So congrats on a great start to the season and the Excellence in Engineering Award, and we'll see them next at the Midwest Regional in week 5.
Bomb Squad to me, I think back like a decade or so ago for things like, you go back to like, when they were the Swerve team, right? Like out there all the time. And Justin, Kristine, I know as boomers like myself that like thinking about, those days back then. And I think there's a couple years where, we probably didn't see them that much in the top 25. It's cool to see them doing well again. And I really like the look of this robot, by the way, very slick looking machine, very 19 or 1323-esque, in my opinion. So a lot of cool stuff going on with us 16 this year, and excited to see them on the list.
They've got really great LEDs.
They do. A great robot. And I saw that Austin Jones was their drive coach. I saw that on Facebook this weekend. And I was like, I remember Austin Jones being like this little kid, or this very, not little kid, but a young kid. When I first met him, I was like, oh, gosh. Now he's like this grown man with a kid as a drive coach. I was like, I've been in the game a long time.
Yeah, bro,
This
we're
is
old.
wild. Yeah, we are.
Okay, on that note, up to 22. Out of Sedalia, Missouri, and Smith Cotton High School, it's Open Alliance Team 4522, Team Scream. With a record of 15-2-0, they were the first pick of the 1 seed and winners at the Central Missouri Regional. They're actually one of my favorite build threads to follow this year. We mentioned 3847, but I like their build thread too this year. Team Scream, they use a vertical shooter on an elevator to score consistently in the speaker, amp, and trap. After a 5.5 note auto, Scream starts with 3 in the amp to secure co-op and the first amplification before cycling quickly across the field to just in front of the subwoofer for most of their shots. In playoff finals, they'd face off against Kiddie Pool Defense Robot 7662, one of my favorite robots this week, and show off some of their shooting from a little further away. They end the match with a trap score that requires a little bit of wiggling and a little bit of luck, but they secured that ranking point in 5 of their 12 matches, and that allowed them to seed high at a competitive event. Congrats on the win and the Gracious Professionalism Award, and we'll see them next at weeks 4 and 6 at the St. Louis and Greater Kansas City Regionals.
Ari, I'm very disappointed that you didn't include the kiddie pool robot in your video initially on here. We got it up on screen now, but like, I'm sorry. Can we take them Team Screen? By the way, we had them on the OA show. Awesome team with that as well. But can we take a moment to talk about the kiddie pool robot? By the way, like this wins.
You're stealing my snub.
Is it really?
Stealing my stuff. Come on. No. It should have been, though.
Yeah. I mean,
it's literally like the most famous robot this week is that kiddie pool robot. I don't know a team that's not talking about them.
I mean, I've been in this program since I was in 3rd grade, basically, and I've never, and I mean, like, never seen anything nearly as close to, like, a kiddie pool being on a robot. And that, like...
We've seen a lot of
that,
cheesecake.
Like, absolutely captive. Yeah.
We've seen a lot
I've been on the Neutrons for quite some time now. I've seen many forms of cheesecake, but that, like, literally captivated me for a moment. And the immediate thought was, like, if that robot was at this event, and I had my dogs with me, they would be on the field immediately being like, it's pool time, let's go. And it would be an issue. But that, like, kudos to that team, like, best use of, like, just commonly available product.
I want to know when they got it. Did they bring it into the event with them, like at load-in? Or did someone, like, leave at lunch and go get it to bring it in? Or is it just chilling in their pit all weekend?
Dude, I feel like this is just randomly found in the venue somewhere.
I love that even more, honestly. That would be awesome.
Hey, we need a behind the bumpers with 76.
Please.
Oh my goodness! So please. somebody qualify them for World Championships, or we'll see if we can get a local correspondent out there for it. But by the way, so we don't do 4522 a disservice at all. Congratulations to them. Really cool to see Team Scream on the top 25. They have an awesome JV team, also with Team Scream Junior, which. Funny enough, if those who don't know, I think they lost to Team Screen Junior twice in the finals last year as well. So I always love seeing that rivalry happen between those two things as well. So I don't think they competed against each other in finals this year, but overall fantastic program. It was great to have them on OA show a couple times, and very well deserved of being in the top 25.
Okay, we're going to move up to our 21 spot then. In their debut on our FRC top 25, it's Team 353, the Pobots, from Plainview, New York, and John F. Kennedy High School. They were the #1 seed and winners of the Hudson Valley Regional. In their first regional win since the 2001 Long Island Regional, 353 is having a breakout season. Coming into this event as a dark horse, captaining Alliance to the finals for the first time in 20 years last season, 353 proved that they are a new force to be reckoned with in New York City. With a record of 15-1-0, their robot is one of the best Quokka archetype robots I've seen this season. They make smart use of the amp throughout their matches and switch off to the front of the subwoofer or podium to shoot. They start the match with a 3-note auto that picks up 2 notes from the midline on the amp side and shoots them into their wing for easy access at the start of the match. congrats on the win and the Creativity Award, and we'll see them next at the Long Island Regional in week 4. And welcome to the Top 25 353. We are so happy to have you on here. I love seeing downstate New York teams appear on here. They don't get a lot of love sometimes, and I love featuring new teams on here. So 353.
I'm right with you on that one. They don't get a lot of love, and I know that for 353, just we have gone to Long Island Regional for the past few years. This year's been an exception, but they're a great team, and I'm sure they were extremely excited to have such a good robot, have it perform so well, and earn the overall number 1 overall pick, and eventually the win. They really carried the alliance in the finals too. I don't know all the details, but Robo Tigers weren't on the field. Their first overall pick weren't on the field for finals 2, and Pobas still got it done. So it was awesome.
Not going to lie, this is a team I had to look up. I was not familiar with on this, and it was really cool to see just everything that this team brought. So congratulations for being on the top 25 for the first time, and welcome. It's always cool to get new teams up on this list. All right, Justin, let's go into the number 20.
Sorry, I got lost in the chat. Classic. All right. Classic. In the 20th spot is team number 6424 from one of our favorite places in the whole country, Knob Noster, Missouri. It's Stealth Panther Robotics. 14-1 overall, with winners of the Green Country Regional. So earning 29 ranking points over their 10 matches, 6424 is well driven under the bumper intake. Makes good use of their center hook climb, which I love to see. I really thought that more teams that maybe didn't want to necessarily have a trap mechanism would have a feature that would enable them to score or climb easily on one side of the chin or the other instead of the dead center. 6424 is phenomenal at that. This team has been on a roll since picking up 3 regional wins last season. So they're really a team that's on fire and successfully defended their Green Country Regional title. So congrats on a great event, and it's good and good luck, and you catch them again week 4 as they defend their Iowa Regional win from last year. It's at 6424 Stealth Panther Robotics.
And we got a chance to see this team on premiere night as well, too, which was really cool for it. By the way, I'm not 100% sure if it's pronounced Nom Monster or not. I feel like I talked to somebody on that team. It was a different pronunciation, but I cannot remember. However, I feel like, I don't know, it's such a cool city name anyways, right?
It's not Knob Noster, really.
Well, that's what our Northeastern, that's like
Knob Nooster? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. As like Northerners, that's like us just being like, sound it out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I pronounce it.
Noster. Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
Congratulations on 6424. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't necessarily know a ton about them, so I just looked up a little history, and like I said, they won 3 regionals last year as well. So just an awesome season last year and starting off on the right foot this year. All right, moving into the teens, a team that Tyler probably got to see a lot of this weekend is team number 1923 from Plainsboro, New Jersey. Is the Midnight Inventors, 15-1-2 overall, and the winners of the Allentown District event, where they also brought home the Impact Award. So some double gold cling bling there. After releasing the robot about 10 days ago, Frenzy made its highly anticipated debut in Allentown, featuring an over the bumper intake, swerve, and a double articulating shooting arm. They quickly earned themselves the number 1 seed. On the field, they shoot a ton, picking up rings wherever they see them. In the playoffs, 103 along with 2577 were employing an awesome feeding strategy. If you haven't seen any Alliance implement this strategy yet, I suggest you go watch some matches. It's really awesome. 103 was launching rings into the wing for 1923, who was just on cleanup duty, scoring a ton of rings. It was awesome to watch. So matches were fun. They faced very little resistance on their way to their event win. So congrats to them. You can catch them again this weekend in Montgomery. So that's 1923, the Midnight Inventors.
Yeah, we had Jeff on. We had Jeff on from Midnight Adventures last night, actually, on FRC Roundup. So it was great to get his perspective on their alliance going through. They tied their first finals match, so it was very interesting to hear like what happened, how did they make changes, and that strategy, Justin, that you mentioned of that shuttling strategy. Really, really cool overall. And it's cool to see it implemented that way. We're starting to see a couple more teams do that. That meta starts to evolve out there. Sean McNulty, who's the drive coach on 103, that's a name from that's been around a long time for those who remember. Got a great chance to talk with him a lot as well too, going into their first day, and just how both these teams were approaching strategy was really cool. 1923's robot is absolutely the real deal. I absolutely love it. And this is a team that I think right now them and Petty out of FMA are going to be 100% your locks right now going in, and we'll see who else comes up there to contend with them.
I think it's really interesting too, seeing how they built they built a complicated robot last year that became a simple robot. And I think it's interesting how they've used that kind of knowledge to build a more complex robot while still keeping it as simple as possible. So really cool, really interesting robot, 1923. We have a behind the bumpers on them. Definitely, if you have the chance, watch that. And
we also do have a behind the glass that will be coming out with them too, where we have Jeff mic'd up in that match as well. So you'll be able to hear a lot of the insight that goes into one of their qualification matches. That should be coming out Thursday or Friday, something like that.
And Tyler, was it the match they lost?
No. No, they didn't fall for the fun curse.
Okay.
So.
All right. Thanks for the insight, everyone, on that. So moving on to the 18th team, I've got Team 78 from Newport, Rhode Island. It's Airstrike, 15-2 overall, and with the winners, the BSU district event. So after seeing the robot at the week 0, they picked up right where they left off after winning that week 0 event to win their first event of the season. First official event of this season. So 78 to me is the model of consistency. It's efficiently running cycles, seemingly equally comfortable running the amp or speaker, which is not necessarily common amongst all the teams on this list. After City 1, they picked up 125 and 67-13 to make their playoff run. The Alliance peaked at a very impressive 115 unpenalized score on their way to their event win. So another strong start to the season for this top 25 mainstay, and you can watch them hit the field again at week 4 in Greater Boston. So Kristine, you were there. Obviously, had some awesome experiences with 78. You want to just talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, absolutely. And for once, it was a experience with them, not against them. This is a team that comes out swinging every single year. Like you said, they showed up to week 0 and they won, which sometimes can be the kiss of death as an FRC team that has attended that event and won it and not had a great season. But they definitely broke that curse and are off to a great start. That robot only weighs 90 pounds. I'd seen photos of it online. Its name is Munchkin. It's adorable. And seeing it in person, way smaller. And then seeing it on the webcast next to my team's robot, which I know is relatively small, it is even smaller than that. So it's really tightly packaged. This is a team that definitely sticks to what their strategy is design-wise and then optimizes it and is so ready by the time that they come to hit the field. So it's a team that we definitely are always nervous to compete against, and we're very grateful that we got to compete with them. They're a lot of fun, and they definitely have a growing crew of alumni that are coming back to mentor their students, and you can tell because it's not just the consistency of them showing up with a great robot every year, but they're making really smart match decisions and overall game decisions. So congrats to them and thanks for picking us. It was a lot of fun to finally play with you guys and not have to look across the field at you.
That's one of the fun untold stories of FRC, and most FRC teams have that other team that they're just so tired of playing against. Just why can't we just play together one time? So that's awesome for you guys. That was sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
My favorite part about I one more thing. My favorite thing about 78 this year is that in autonomous they have very obvious actual note tracking, and I know we kind of all threw around oh, we're gonna have to track the notes that are in the center for auto to see which ones are there. They very obviously look across the field and see which ones are left, and that's the ones that they go for. So that is a very impressive thing that they do, and if you have the chance to watch their matches, go ahead and do that.
For sure. All right. Thank you guys for that. Moving on to the 17th team, I've got 94-83 from Istanbul, Turkey. It's the Istanbul Wildcats. 11-3 overall with winners of the. Oh, I practice it too. I think it's Bosphorus, but who knows? Bosphorus Regional. So I was initially surprised to see a rookie team on the list, but then I was informed that 93-83 used to be the Sneaky Snakes, which we talked about a lot last year and the year before that, and it all made sense. So 94-83 really looks strong, running a 5+ auto. in nearly all of their matches. They're super fast cycles, even in the face of defense, which they saw through the majority of their events. So 93-3 has been able to continue their success. And if you miss them at Bosphorus, you can catch them at week 4 at Marmara. So good luck to 94-83, the Istanbul Wildcats.
Yeah, I just watched the recap that came out that Barkin made about this as well too. It's just really cool to get some insight into this event and everything that's went into it as well. So congratulations to first off Turkey getting on the top 25. I think it's incredible. It's awesome to get more global representation of it, and this is a phenomenal team that should look great at the World Championships. I think this is a great potential dark horse team in a division.
And I just want to give a quick shout out to that regional event. So Fiona Hanlon got to travel out to Turkey to both of their regionals, and I got to catch up with her real quick over like GChat the other day, and she was just absolutely raving about the effort that they've put into growing their volunteer pool there. They said that they put in so much work to like grow their volunteer pool and make it happen. She said that all of them are like young alumni, and it's really showing that they're really trying to set like a great foundation for the program and continue to grow it. She said that she had the best time, that they do a really good job of like showcasing their culture to a lot of the international teams that come, and that she had a lot of incredible food. So shout out to everybody that makes that event happen, or both events, sorry, because it's 2 events.
Yeah, they have two double-doubles essentially in a row, which is cool. Yeah, I mean, for those who don't know, by the way, Turkey has like absolutely exploded in growth over the last few years. They are now the 3rd largest country in FRC, and it is possible within the next year or two they could overtake Canada. So I think they're sitting at about 230-ish, and Canada's at about 280 or something like that. But you go back like 2016 or something like that, I think Turkey is around like a dozen teams or something like that. So
wow,
that's insane. I literally had no idea.
Yeah.
The other great thing too is they've now become almost the international hub for teams that are not in North America now. Because if you think about it, if you're in Asia or Europe, your options for the most part are very limited because Israel's a district, so you can't travel and go there. You have Australia, that's a very far ways away for in the Oceania area, right? So if you're any team that's in, Taiwan or China, or we have teams, there was a couple teams there from Romania and France and stuff like that. I mean, that's a magnet location now, and I think that's really cool that they've been able to build that out and be that.
Yeah, that's incredible growth. I was surprised when I saw that there was 2 regionals in Turkey. Not to mention, now you mentioned the explosion in team number. That's absolutely incredible.
Well, there's 4 now. It's 2 sets of 2 now.
2. Wow.
Yeah, so they run 2 in a row, and then next week they're doing the same thing where they're going week 4 they run an event, take a day break, and then do a second event. I think there's a day break, but yeah, and they do it in the same venue now. Yeah, so cool.
Awesome. All right, another team that spawned some great discussion, and the last one I've got here at 16 is 4039 from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. It's Makeshift Robotics, 15-2 overall, and with the winners of the New Market District event. So one of my personal all-time favorite teams, Makeshift has built another quality machine for Crescendo. The robot features a slick, low-profile shooter that is fed from an under-the-bumper intake. In auto, they bring home multiple shots and then head out for some fast cycles. The utility arm also allows them to easily score into the amp. And in the playoffs, it was awesome to see they're running some really beautifully choreographed autos with their alliance. So they're off to a great start in their Ontario District event play. And good luck the rest of the way to 4039 Makeshift Robotics.
Makeshift was in our forecast show. I think they were dark horse off the top of my head, so they're a dark horse or a contender for it as well. But Justin, I know you and Mike go way back with Makeshift. For Mike, Makeshift has always been one of his favorite teams around. Not just because they're incredible shirts that they do, but just the overall completeness of what that team is, both from an impact side and also from a robot side as well. Makeshift is such. If you can't see, let's put it up on screen here. The human player for that is right by the blue amp here when there's not the random person walking by the camera. So you can see like their shirts are so cool. If you have not seen them, I cannot wait. I'm going to Ontario DCMP or Ontario Provincials this year. I cannot wait to see them again and see all the awesome teams there. It's gonna be so cool.
Yeah, I should mention they won the district impact.
Their shirts are all handmade. Yeah. Okay. You can talk about impact first. That's more important.
No, you're right. The shirts are awesome, and they transition their shirts too. I don't know if people know this. So the first day of the event, they're wearing like a gray. It's gray, black, and white, right?
And those are my favorite. I just need
Those
to
are.
say
I
that
do have
because
one
I
of those.
love.
It is nice. It is nice. Yep.
You have
You
one?
have one?
Yeah.
Jinx.
Like Tyler said, we go way back with makeshift.
All right.
And then the second day of the event, they'll have like white and then a little bit of orange, but still largely kind of a little bit of a mix of both. And then the last day of the event, boom, full color. It's awesome. They're a great team.
They have one guy with like a Dr. Seuss cat in the hat too, and they'll put duct tape rings around it,
and it changes
all black
too.
and white, and it changes colors as they go through
Yeah.
matches.
That's awesome.
They do it at IRI
awesome.
too when they've gone. Like the first year that I made it out to IRI, like, which is like shamefully not that long ago. They were there, and that was like I got like the shirt experience up close and personal because it's unless you're near them at champs or unless you're in that district, it's like those are like the little magical things you don't get to experience. It's like, oh wait, their shirt's chasing.
Yeah, the Dr. Susak guy that you're talking about, that's their team leader, Matt. He's awesome. He's like the nicest guy. Their team is awesome. We go up to their off-season event. We've gone there since, I don't know, like 2017, 2016. So can't say enough about Makeshift, and it's awesome to see them here on the list at 16.
And I'm jealous of your shirt. Awesome. All right, so I'm going to be taking over and heading into the 15 spot. We have team 2046 from Maple Valley, Washington. It's Bare Metal. Bare Metal took the field for the first time in the 2024 season at the PNW District Oregon State Fairgrounds event, which by name alone sounds like a lot of fun and a lot of delicious times. Bare Metal has really established themselves as a premier force in the PMW District, and they started 2024 no differently. After seeding third overall, they were chosen first overall by team 2521 CERT and rounded out their alliance with team 3712, the RoboCats. The alliance stormed through the playoffs for the event win with a high score of 110 unpenalized points. The Bears bring a super strong fast swerve with a low pivoted shooter and very quick handoff mechanism that dunks in the amp and trap. I love a good dunk. After some early troubles with the trap, they were showing off their dunk skills all weekend. Throughout the event, they mixed in several different auto modes, including a 6-note auto from the amp side and a 4-note auto from the source side. Congrats to Bare Metal on the win and Creativity Award and Dean's List. That's a ton of district points. We'll see Bare Metal again this weekend at Bonnie Lake.
I had a chance to see and meet a lot of people from Bare Metal last year when I was out in PNW as well too. Yeah, awesome team. Really like their drive team a lot. Very dedicated group of students. Obviously, it could be different students now this year, but you could just definitely tell that they had the right focus, I think, for what teams are looking for. And those who have been drive coaches or down behind the glass, so you probably know what I'm talking about, right? Where for teams like the way they can approach, they have that right vision and focus on how they want to see a match and that sort of thing. And that's what I felt from Bare Metal. So cool to see them doing well again. I know last year they had a little bit of a slower start, if I remember correctly. This year coming out super strong, and great to see Bare Metal repping the PNW in the top 25 in week 2.
I also really love the robot. If you look at it, I like to call it's a robot's robot. There's like a lot of arms going on, a lot of gears, belts visible.
So
like
robot's robot.
It's a robot's robot right there. I love it.
A robot's robot. I like that.
It's a good description. They always have very pretty robots too. I love their powder coating color schemes.
Yeah, it's awesome. Looks great.
All right, and in the 14th spot, this really made my brain hurt. It is team 114 out of Los Altos, California. It's Eagle Strike. Eagle Strike has really been gaining momentum the last few seasons, and they've started the 2024 season with a bang. They were the winners of this weekend's San Francisco Regional. After an undefeated qualifying session, the Birds secured the #1 seed, selecting Birds and Bread. Sorry, the Birds picked the bread. And fellow Eagles 5507, the Robotic Eagles. Eagle Strike sports a robust, great low pivoting shooter and a robust over-the-bumper intake. The intake took a Lincoln and kept a Tinkin all weekend. Their super consistent 5-note auto had them taking leads after autonomous in almost every single match they played this weekend. The formidable 1-2 punch of autos with 5940 bread had their alliance up big in each playoff match. Eagle Strike's #1 alliance marched through the playoffs and secured the victory in 5 matches, bringing them to a perfect 15-0 record for the season so far. We'll see Eagle Strike in Idaho in just 2 weeks. So congratulations to Eagle Strike.
Yeah, and San Francisco was not an easy regional by any means, too. A lot of people who watch Ventura, where you had the 44-14 and Rembrandts and stuff like that. San Francisco, I think, had a higher OPR or EPA average overall than what Ventura did this week. So it was, very, very difficult regional to go through, and a lot of really just team. Once again, it's like every single week there's I shouldn't say new team. 114 is obviously not a new team, but like a new team from California that's on the top 25 that we get the showcase and see. It's just never ending for how good these teams out on the West Coast are. And I haven't looked at what combined EPAs are of like the top like 10 teams or something like that out of California, but I would surmise that it would just absolutely crush most other areas for what this game has been so far.
Their next regional isn't easy either. Idaho regionals kind of become like the regional that you go to when you're in California and you want to go somewhere else besides California. So they've got some interesting teams going there. I think they also have 6036 Peninsula, who we've talked about on here. So it'll be an interesting one for sure.
They also play East Bay with 254 as well, too, in week 6. So that'll be very interesting as well, too. And other Citrus is also there as well.
Every week.
And
I'm
Brad.
telling you,
Citrus
and
is
Brad.
also there.
There's
Stuff
a
anymore.
whole bunch of that actually, man, for a week 6 regional, East Bay is going to be absolutely stacked. Holy crap.
Wow. I mean, shout out to all those teams all over the place, but especially in California where it is not easy to make a name for yourself or even, get the spotlight time or get voted up this high into the top 25. So it's always impressive. And I feel like we're hearing these like perennial powerhouse names now, like coming up more and more, like Bread. Like it's not just the same, pool of like 4 or 5 teams. So I'm excited to see, like you said, week 6, like that's a really late, deep event. So we'll have to get our popcorn ready for that one. All right, and we are in the number 13 spot, one of my all-time favorite teams, Team 176, Aces High. From South Windsor, Connecticut, it's Aces High. This Connecticut powerhouse team customarily took the field at the New England Waterbury event this past weekend, an event they've reached at least the finals in every year since 2018, which is pretty insane. Aces came out of the gate strong again this year with their beautiful all-black machine. They feature a low-pivoted multi-purpose shooter arm that allows them to amp and speaker with the same mechanism. They feature a few auto modes, which include collecting multiple midfield rings and successfully manage to deal with the several defensive collisions at midfield. From the offset of the event, it looks like 176 would take the top spot, and the question really was who they would take as their first overall pick. Aces ended up picking longtime rivals 230 the Gilhawks and took next door neighbors 839 Rosie Robotics. The alliance was strong throughout the limbs. However, a loss in round 2 forced the number 1 alliance into the lower bracket, where they fought back to the finals to face a strong number 4 alliance. After 3 tight matches, the number 1 alliance emerged successfully. Aces has a week to catch their breath this week before taking the field next week at a very strong Western New England event. Congratulations to 176. I'm excited to see where their season takes them this year. I know that they definitely won't be taking a break between their events. Right down the road from them, Team 175 has that full practice field, and they are constantly practicing and hanging out, and I feel like this is just the start for them. And they're watching them play through those like limbs in the playoff rounds. It just felt like another season. Like leaving district champs last year, watching them fight through the finals. I think that team is kind of used to this sort of like adversity and performing at that high stress. So it was not too surprising to me to see them squeak out that final win.
Yeah, so I was actually at Waterbury this weekend. I was queuing and got to see this robot up close. And it was really interesting. They did have some trouble in their first few qualification matches, just like getting that machine tuned. And they would have some matches later in the day where like their limelight alignment and their April tag vision systems just weren't aligning properly. But it's just incredible to see how they adapt to that during the match, how they'll start doing the amp. And they would take that number 1 spot. Just because of their adaptability here. I think in the weeks in the future, they did struggle a little bit with their trap mechanism. They actually didn't end up using it for the entire event, but they do have that on the robot. So Western New England, get ready for that to be deployed and working, because this robot is going to absolutely dominate. I'm excited for it.
As am I. I think that's going to be a stacked event. Tyler, you'll have to let us know how things shake out there.
Absolutely.
It'll be fun. We're there too.
I like the nervous laugh. You're just like, it's going to be fun. Also, shout out to them picking longtime rivals, because I feel like it was another situation of like us having to play 78 typically at like our first event. So I'm sure it was nice to finally be able to pair up, for them to pair up with Galehawks, which is another longtime Connecticut team. So congratulations to 176. And moving into the number 12 spot, we have one of my favorite teams, hometowns to say. It's team 2767. Best city name on fun, I would have to say, besides Knob Noster, which is probably not pronounced that way. It's the one and only Strike Force from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Absolutely no stranger to fun in the top 25. Strike Force put out an excellent performance this weekend at the St. Joseph's District event. The speedy Strike Force machine features a fast shooter with a clean lifting arm to score in the amp and trap. Strike Force's robot looked like an absolute force out on the field as well, coming out on the winning side of many collisions and elbowing their way around the field. They featured a selection of auto modes, including a 5-note auto from the amp side and 3 to 4-note auto that would start on the source side. Speed under the stage and grab the middle ring field, and in the blink of an eye, they would finish that all up. And at the end of qualifications, the Strike Force machine found itself in the number 2 seeded position and was selected first overall by the Tech Vikes team 2054. They rounded out their alliance with team 5610 Turbulence and eventually called up backup team 5501 Bobcats to grind through the playoff tournament. Strike Force takes a weekend off before gearing up again for the West Michigan District event. We'll be watching 2767 all season, as they assuredly will be fighting for the top spot in Michigan.
I was a little surprised Strike Force didn't have a turret this year, as a team that has had a lot of turrets in the past. I'm also very happy that I did hear that a team did kind of decapitate themselves, and it wasn't Strike Force, so that's good for those who remember back in 2020. So in 2020, they went right underneath the whatever the color wheel is called, the control panel, and completely lopped off their turret doing that as well. So when I heard this happen, I'm like, all right, I'm glad. I'm not happy having any team, but I'm just like, oh, was it them? All right, no, good. Okay, good. But yeah, Strike Force, awesome team. A team that, late 2010s when they won the 2 championships in a row, really on a roll. And then coming out of COVID as well, too, this team has just really continued a lot of excellence as well. I feel like, for them, they're in 12. Obviously, they're getting great recognition and stuff like that. This is a team that I think really can sit with the upper echelons that sometimes Michigan teams don't always get that love. There's a lot of, at least in the voting that we see a lot of times, there's a lot of teams that kind of are in that 10 to like 30 range or 10 to 40 range and stuff like that, and don't always creep up in the top 10 for Michigan. I do think Strike Force is a team that really has that opportunity to do that in their future events.
Yeah, absolutely. And rounding out my teams in number 11, we have team 2231 from Shoham Hamerkaz, Israel. It's Onyxtronics. Onyxtronics joins the top 25, already having competed in 2 district events. After a huge dub at ISR event number 2 as the number 1 seed, Onyxtronics came back strong at ISR event number 4, once again securing the number 1 spot after qualifications. They rounded out their lines by selecting 9739 Firefly and 3075 Hadream Team. After some of the most contested playoff matches we've seen all year, the number 1 alliance, led by Onyxtronics, found themselves in finals match number 3 against the number 2 alliance. After a back and forth finals 3, the number 1 alliance came out as the finalists, losing their last match 82-72. Onyxtronics robot is a great model of consistency. They go out every match and cycle effectively and cleanly. The robot is well driven, as you can see, and the experience is showing that they worked through the playoffs during ISR number 4. Their consistent trap ability seems to really be boosting their ability to rise to the top of the rankings. They'll be a strong contender for the number 1 seed at the ISR District Championship in a couple of weeks, especially as we see Melody RP rates climb. The ensemble RP will become more and more critical.
Yeah, Onyxtronics, a team, once again, we think of, when we think of Israel, we think of the Orbits and the Bumblebees and the Miskars and the a few others as well too. Onyxtronics, a team that I think we've had maybe once or twice in the top 25, but EPA wise, obviously a very high performing team that we've seen out there, and going to be a contender for sure. I don't know quite a lock for Israel District Championships, but definitely a contender going into Israel DCMP in my opinion.
I think they're a lock. I'm going to disagree with you on that
All right.
one. I think that their driving really sets them apart. Like you were showing the match there, they were playing through defense and shooting over what was the 48-inch blocker there. So I think that they're really gonna shake things up in the rankings at district champs, and it'll be really fun to watch.
I mean, it's a very fair take. They definitely could.
I think if nothing else, they will throw a wrench in things, especially with there are those consistent locks that we see year after year, but I think as play gets into a higher level, some of these other ranking points that may not have been as critical or as consistently like happening at the beginning of the season, I think are going to come into play. But I was really impressed that they were able to shoot over the defense and then like really just kind of plow through some of the defense that they were seeing when I was watching some of these matches, especially that blocker. I was like, okay, what do we got here? And then actually saw that they went over it. Was impressed.
And also Danielle has a phenomenal recap of the two ISR events that took place as well too on FRC recap. So please go and watch those. Danielle does an incredible job articulating what goes into those events. So go give that some love and go check out FRC recap as well too. Hey, before we get into our top 10, let's take a moment. We got a giveaway to start in just a moment, but let's thank our friends from Kettering University for the continued support of First Updates. Now, time is running out. If you are accepted to Kettering University or looking at getting applied and accepted, you should do so very soon at kettering.edu/first, because you can still apply for the next, I think, month, for at least the rest of this month, for a Kettering scholarship, a FIRST Robotics scholarship, good for up to $5,000 per year that you can use and stackable with other things as well, too. Kettering University, one of the great things that really makes them unique, every single student that goes into it will be placed into a co-op, so you can start making money, work while you're going to school. You go to school for one session, and then you work with a great company the other part. They have such a high job placement rate with that as well too, so go to kettering.edu/first, and this is a school that over 30% of those who attend Kettering University were in high school robotics. So head on over to kettering.edu/first to get some more information on that and see if they're a great choice for you. Let's start our giveaway from our friends at the Thrifty Bot today. It's going to be for a $50 Thrifty Bot gift card. I just talked to Ryan Donio today from the Thrifty Bot, and he said that one of their top most popular things this year is the Thrifty Telescoping Tube Kit. No big surprise, I think, with what the game challenge is and everything like that. If you're interested in winning this, type in tube in chat. That's your keyword to win. And don't forget, if you are subscribed to our YouTube channel, absolutely free, click that subscribe button. You're going to get 3 times luck to win. We're going to draw for this right after number 6, which we have another giveaway as well too. So tube is your keyword. Type that in chat right now. And thanks again for the Thrifty Bot for the awesome giveaway.
With that, we're going to hop into our top 10. It's very exciting. So starting off our top 10, out of Queens, New York, and Queens Technical High School, it's Team 1796, the Robo Tigers. With a record of 13-2-0, they were the first pick of the number 1 seed and winners at the Hudson Valley Regional. 1796 has a double-jointed arm with a vertical shooter that can shoot from the wing line or closer, preferring the shot from further out. Robo Tigers are consistently one of the best teams in New York, and this season is proving no different, with the current top EPA in New York State. 1796 starts the match with a 6-note auto that consistently grabs 2 off the amp side of the midline and shoots them at least to their side of the field to pick up intelli. They cycle from anywhere on the field to the back leg of the stage, often opting to score 2 in the amp and 2 in the speaker. They roared onto the week 2 field. Their driving is polished, and their shooter and autos were tuned from the first qualification match, leading to a consistent run at the event and hopefully into the weeks beyond. Congrats on the win and the Excellence in Engineering Award, and we'll see them next at weeks 4 and 6 at Tech Valley and the New York City Regionals.
Yeah, we were disappointed to not cross paths with Robo Tigers at all this year. They are, one of the best teams, if not the best team in the state, year after year. It was awesome to see them start their season with so much success, and even better to see them get the recognition that, as Ray kind of mentioned, some New York teams really kind of struggle with. But to see them here in the top 10 in a week where so many other great teams competed, it's just a testament to the robot and the team that they have.
especially in a week 2 where so many teams are getting things tuned like right out the gate. 1796, literally like their first match, they're working 6-note auto. They do like 7 cycles beyond that. It just absolutely impressed me so much just seeing that robot.
This team has so many blue banners, by the way, that it's absolutely incredible.
It's crazy.
Like, especially since like I think really 2015 was kind of the year that I think they won in 2012 and 2013, but like 2015, this team's just been winning like 2 blue banners a year going through, including at least 1 division win as well too, if I remember correctly. Robo Tigers I think have been one of those hidden gems for a long time that now no longer are. Like they are starting to finally get that global recognition that they really do deserve. I think it's really cool to see a couple teams from New York State get some recognition as well too. I know for Justin and Ari, I'm sure you're very excited to see that recognition out there as well. But really cool that both these teams are getting some recognition, good dues. And Robo Tigers, awesome team. I know we've done a couple interviews with them in the past, and looking forward to seeing them at championships.
Yeah, can confirm the
banners this season. Like I think they had 4 last year. Like they're insane.
I was gonna say can confirm the district win. Or district,
Division.
yeah, division. Sorry,
Division
win. Cannot
Yeah,
confirm their district win because.
Yeah, that's a sensitive topic. New York districts.
We're still in that regional grind.
Wish you joined the party.
Yeah. Yeah, 2017 they went with you guys.
And they were honestly like some of the funnest people to be around too. Like
they are awesome.
And oddly enough, our driver at the time, or no, sorry, our one of our like pit crew, who is one of our programmers, had grown up in New York and bumped into a kid on Robo Tigers that he like grew up going to like elementary and middle school with. Hadn't seen him since then. Bonkers. But yeah, they're an awesome team. A lot of fun to play with.
Yeah. Hey, Kristine, speaking of the Neutrons, let's move into our 9th spot. Out of Revere, Massachusetts and Revere High School, it's team 125, the Neutrons. With a record of 15-2-0, they were the first pick of the first seed and winners at New England's BSU district event. Finalists on Einstein last year, they are back with a low-shooting robot design that features a double-sided intake and an elevator that handles the amp and the trap. 125 debuted their machine earlier this week, and despite some mechanical issues with their handoff during qualifications at the BSU event, the robot hit its stride in playoffs, specializing in sub-5-second cycles from the source to the amp side of the podium, and climbing to hit the trap at the end of the match. They have an excellent 6-note auto that took some time to tune, but will be incredibly valuable at their future events. 125 would also take home the District Impact Award this weekend, so congrats on the double gold Kling Bling, and we'll see them next at Greater Boston in week 4. Kristine?
Hey! Yeah, so again, like pretty wild start to the season for us. Shout out to all the students on our team that, you know, worked their butts off leading up to this event and at the event. We definitely had some frustrating gremlins with like notes ending up in weird spots underneath our shooter and all other types of things that, I'm not gonna lie, watching from a distance, watching repair, I'm like, what exactly are we doing? We had some sensor issues, but watching everybody kind of understand exactly what needed to get done and working through it calmly was pretty awesome, because every match really counted at this event with how well everybody else was performing. So to see everybody kind of like get it together and keep the robot running was really awesome. We definitely do have a lot of like tuning we want to do between now and Greater Boston, and make sure that we, you know, kind of work through any potential gremlins. A lot of things that I keep seeing with teams, and this is across the board, is like any weird way a note could fall on your robot, it will find a way to fall on your robot, in your robot, kind of near your robot, and break and cling onto your robot like a koala, because literally like these game pieces, or at one point, I think one of the most like, wait, what just happened was one match we shot in auto and it ricocheted off and immediately went under the shooter. So the robot just kind of like sandwiched it back down underneath, like inside. And with it being so compact, it was like, wait, what's in there right now during the match? So, and I definitely saw some other teams work through some of those issues, and I think it's going to happen. So hopefully we can work through the rest of anything that we need to get through, but it was a great start to the season. So thanks for everybody that voted for us.
Yeah, always great to see 125. Yeah. Go Annie. Right, we're going to move up to number 8. Out of Wentzville, Missouri, and Timberland High School, it's Team 1706, the Ratchet Rockers. With a record of 15-2-0, they were the first seed and winners at the Central Missouri Regional. Their robot uses a quick under-the-bumper intake to an elevator to score in the speaker, amp, and the trap. 1706 has an impressive handoff. Basically, as soon as the note is collected, they can shoot. Accurate from all across their wing, they have great amping, and they do the trap very consistently. They're able to go between mid-court feeding and close shooting as well, and they can switch up strategies on the fly to optimize cycles. They would also go up against the kiddie pool defense robot, our snub of the week from all of us, apparently, 76-62 in finals, and demonstrated their ability to shoot well from the podium as well as around defense at the subwoofer. So congrats on the win and Excellence in Engineering Award, and we'll see them next at the St. Louis Regional in week 4.
I've talked about this team for quite a few years. This is one of my favorite teams in first. They've been a team that coming out of COVID has just absolutely just been incredible. And I think actually even I think 2019, I think they had a really good season as well too. So Ratchet Rockers, they just have so much that's complete, like you said, Ari. I mean, they're a team that can fire from practically anywhere in their wing, able to do amp quickly, which I think is something that, you know, a lot of top scorers have not been able to do as well, or at least as well as I'd like to see, to have that versatility. But then they also trap as well too. So this team is absolutely a complete package. You know, for them, I can't wait at championships to see them go up against some of the other big names that we've been talking about as well too, in the top 25. I think about them. I think it was 2022 when they were division winners as well too, off the top of my head, and just absolutely a team that is a top tier team. This is an elite team and definitely deserves the great recognition that they have in the number 7 or number 8 spot.
Yeah, seeing them go up against big names, but seeing them go up against small names too, like random defense robots like 7662, three ring circuits, that's their name. But just seeing them just go around all these teams and their driving is just absolutely incredible. So
They're also
props to the
becoming-
defense robot, but props to them too.
Yeah, they're also becoming a like top 25 regular at this point.
They are.
Yeah.
So speaking of some top 25 regulars, let's move up to our 7 spot. Out of Greenville, Texas, it's 148, the Robo Wranglers. Currently 3rd in the First in Texas district with a record of 15-3-0, they were the first seed and winners of the Plano district. Robo Wranglers revealed Outlaw this week, a double-sided intaking robot with an adjustable shooter that can aim on the move and score in the trap. They did the trap 3-ish times at this event of their 12 fall matches, which was enough to lock them into the 1 seed. 148 starts the match with a 4-note amp side auto with a wing line shot that follows that with a versatile tele performance. They have a double-sided collector for easy collection for those notes that are up against the subwoofer. They have really zippy, fast cycles and an aiming system that only improved over the course of the event. They have great driving so far with room to tune to reach for the stars. Congrats on the win and excellence in engineering at Plano, and we'll see them next at Dallas in week 4.
I'm so glad you described the robot as zippy, because that's exactly how I described the robot last year. It's like
really?
constant ability. Yeah, like
It
every
is.
motion is so precise and fast, and like zippy is really the only word I could describe it. And same thing again this year. Like I feel like I'm watching the robot in fast forward.
So I'm not gonna lie, for me personally, coming in, not before the robot reveal, I was a little curious to see how 148 was going to do. They had a at least for them, they had a slower start last season. They didn't win a single district last year. They got knocked out, I think, in match 13 at their DCMP divisions, and then they come out and win in the division at championships, right? So they had a lot of stuff going in the right direction for them. But when you come back in the new season, the 148 team has been through a lot, and it's awesome to see they got their stuff together, building an elite robot once again. And this robot is exactly what I expect out of a 148 robot. It has the look, it has the feel. It's a robot's robot, right, Justin?
That's exactly right.
I want a shirt that says that. It's a robot.
Oh my God, we need to make it, sell it immediately.
I think it comes from people say they're a man's man. I think that's where it comes from. They're a robot's robot.
I like robot's robot better. Let's go with that.
I do too.
Same.
Robot.
I just didn't want people to think I was just making it up out of thin air.
Yeah, for sure.
It's so true though. You get all these robots that just like have all these like weird little systems on them.
It's
like,
the best. I love it.
I think we're gonna get to 2056 later, and that it's definitely a robot's robot.
Spoilers. Jeez.
Are they on the
Oh,
list?
sorry, Tyler. Right, we're gonna bumble over to our sixth spot here, where we have team 3339 Bumblebee from Hamakaz, Israel. With a record of 34-1, they were the number 1 seed and winner of the Israeli District 1 and number 2 seed and winner at the Israeli District 3. Currently 4th in the world in EPA. We talked about them last week in the 6th spot as well. But what 3339 does a great job of that I've seen no one else do as consistently is shooting from the far or source side at the wing line. And this is an incredibly useful role with shortened cycles that they absolutely specialize in, and I love this role for them. So 3339 starts the match with a number of autonomous runs, with most of them running 4 to 5 nodes, with at least 2 from the source side center line. They follow their auto with a smooth teleout performance where they shoot from anywhere, truly, and can use the amp effectively to boost their score. Congrats on both the wins this season and the engineering inspiration at ISR 3, and we'll see them next at the Israeli District Champs next week, week 4.
Yeah, this is going to be a really interesting district championship. As our aforementioned teams in the top 25 with Bumblebee, with Orbit and stuff like that. I mean, and you have a midweek event as well too. There's going to be so many people watching this event. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Man, I'm really not going to get any work done, and it's going to suck. But it's going to be so cool to watch this event. I'm so excited for it, and Bumblebee as well too. A team that I think I mentioned this maybe last week, but a team that really big name, right, in the mid 2010s, stuff like that. I think performance wise they dipped a little bit, and the last couple of years really been back on the rise again. So really cool to see Bumblebee. And once again, team, I got to go out to Israel to their international offseason event back in 2022. It was so cool to see some of these teams. And once again, these are teams that you talk to where you just know that they have it, like they have that magic or whatever it is, or just that thought process to build awesome teams, not just the robots, but everything that goes into it, an absolutely complete team.
The fact that you're calling these years the mid 2010s is really throwing me off, by the way. I'm like, the mid 2010s, yeah, like 2011, 2012, and then I'm like, no, it's the year they went to Einstein 2015. Oh no. I love the role that they play, though. They shoot from the side that's really far away from the speaker, and I think that is a super useful role that we are going to see as teams get these, like their auto lines tuned and their flywheels just really tuned in, that we'll see that more from the elite teams. And I think Bumblebee is really setting the stage for how you can play that, and they just make me so excited.
Well, we do have a giveaway to draw for before we get into our top 5 teams. A couple other things to do as well, too, including our top 50 and snubs of the week as well. So let's go ahead and bring that up. Once again, that was for a $50 ThriftyBot gift card at the thriftybot.com. Tube was the keyword. You could also pick up another thing. I talked to Ryan. He said that these solid urethane wheels were one of their top sellers this year as well, too. I know during Robot in 3 days, these were huge during that. So no surprise with that. The winner of this is going to be... the name is Ryan with the YouTube account associated to it. So, Ryan, make sure you go to firstupdatesnow.com/winner. That's where you're going to claim the giveaway gift card and fill in your information for that so we can get that out to you. And thanks again to the ThriftyBot for the awesome giveaway. We got another giveaway starting up very soon. But before we do that, we do have to talk a little bit about our top 50 teams and the top 25. We have so many teams coming in, and there's so many teams in first. We feel it's important to make sure that we're also featuring at least to our top 50. We probably should go to like 100 or something like that, but that's going to be a little difficult, right? So our top 50 teams, and then we'll talk about our snubs as well, too. Some great teams within here. We just released 9128. It Can Robotics is behind the bumpers today, so it's a great team for you to check out. But I'll kind of throw it around the horn, starting with Ari, Justin, and Kristine. Ari, just in the top 50, who do you want to give a shout out to?
So I just want to start by saying that this top 50 is fascinating because we have some really big name teams in here. Like, just to throw out a few, Spartan, Symbotics, Cyber Knights that did not make the top 25. And I know in the past we've, kind of been a little bit towards the popularity poll with just some people knowing these names. And I think it's really cool to see how we have some very unknown teams in this top 25 and some bigger names down here. So my shout out of these would go to the 195 Cyber Knights. They were at Waterbury. They were eventually the 3 seed captain, and seen some of their practices as well, and I think that 195 is so close to being so good this year. And I'm very excited for it to happen. I'm also very scared for it to happen because when that robot gets dialed in, it will be a force to be reckoned with. I really like their design this year. And I think they do have some problems to work through, especially I know they lost comms in a few of their eliminations matches, which ultimately eliminated them from the tournament. But I really love their design this year, and I can't wait to see where they're going with it.
Yeah, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. I know now that like they got their first event through them, it looks like they have just so much room to improve upon. So I'm scared and excited as well because it's another team that I don't think we ever get paired up with in the weird chance that we're ever at an event with them. But looking through this team or this list, it's crazy because it's like teams that we had just talked about in the top 25 recently because they've already competed again. Like this California pool is absolutely wild. I feel like I'm just like again remembering like yeah those teams competed this past week again. I would have to say, let's see. Already took my like top 50s now, but I mean
Sorry, Kristine.
That's okay. I'm gonna go with 103 because it's not easy being a like super long standing team and kind of being that good on the field like this deep into like having a team. Cybersonics are absolutely legendary. I used to hang out next to that team in the Hall of Fame booth in high school when I was at Champs, and they were always some of the nicest people that like you just constantly see that team roaming around like helping people out. It was really cool to like kind of get I didn't watch the event that they were at, but getting the recap from Tyler and like listening about the 1923 recap and them being on their alliance, it sounded like that they had a really great start to their season.
Yeah, 103
Yeah,
was
they were
definitely
really
awesome.
great this year. Yeah.
Justin,
All right,
how
it's up
about
to
you?
me. I'm gonna go with 2521 CERT. If you see their EPA on
This
this
would be
list
mine.
is 30. Sorry, bro.
That's all right.
They obviously got some recognition here from the voters, and their alliance partner 2046 bare metal made the list, but there were 17-0 undefeated winners of the Oregon State Fairgrounds district event, along with bare metal. They played phenomenally. Definitely, one of the best teams sitting here in the top 50.
Yeah, and by the way, preference for chat and everything, the snubs that we pick out that aren't in the top 50, those we do plan on. These are just kind of off the cuff for us. So I'll give the other one. I could see them at around 25 or something like that, and that's Tech Vikes 2054, who if you saw when we talked about Strike Force earlier, have that super like wide, very boxy type robot and stuff like that. But a team that I think overall has a great strategy overall, how they play the game and what they're going through, and I really like the robot as well too. So I would place them right. It's going to be right around that area. I'm trying to think I always think about what if I were to promote somebody up, who do I drop, right, in that circumstance? And I don't necessarily know who I would exactly drop, but I would get them up right in that area is kind of where I would put them. So, yeah, some fantastic teams. I think some surprises for everybody on where some of these teams end up ranked as well, too. Not seeing 118 up in the top 25. I know they had a little bit rougher event, but still, a really, really good team with that. So a couple other teams on here, too, that would be definitely deserving as well. But let's talk about our snubs of the week as we go back into our rankings. Give me just a second here. I got to press the right button. There we go. So we're going to bring up our snubs here in a second. These are teams that did not make even the top 50 that we feel are absolutely snubbed from being on the top 25, and teams that you should consider as well, too. So, Kristine, let's start with you. Who's on your snub?
Yep, I'm going to go with who we ended up playing across the field from twice during the elimination brackets. It is legendary team 1153 out of Walpole, Massachusetts, who just fielded their New England's very first rookie team, 1119 the Pup Cups. But 1153, I just realized this weekend, and it broke my heart, is they have gotten so many silver medals, but Blue Banner is a no, which makes zero sense because thinking back historically to this team, like back in my senior year of high school, they had probably one of the most dominant robots in New England that we somehow did not like get dethroned by at our first regional. Like I was so afraid of that robot. But this year, like they have a great robot. Super consistent. They put together a really strong alliance. It was an alliance that we played against in one of the first playoff rounds, and then again in the finals. So all around great team. Strategy wise, they were the loudest team at Bridgewater by far. Some of the greatest people, some of the greatest students. But shout out to 1153, the Timberwolves. They are going to be competing this coming weekend at the URI district event, so make sure you keep an eye out for them. And they have a huge social media presence online. And yeah, if you don't follow them, you probably should.
They're going to be at North Shore, not
Sorry,
URI.
North Shore. There's
That's
3
all right.
events going on.
I was like, they're going to URI? Oh my god.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Thinking of a different team.
Had a moment of panic there.
All right, who do you got for your snub?
So my snub this week is Team 316, the Lunatics from the 1st Mid-Atlantic District. They were the first pick of the First Seed Alliance. They were the winners of the event. They won Impact. They have been an absolutely impressive team for me since week 0. They were far and away one of the best teams at week 0. I buy the data they were the best team at week 0. So it has been a fascinating journey to watch them improve and put out their reveal video based on the tweaks that they made from going to that event, and then actually competing on the real field for the first time this weekend and having such great results for this team. This robot's really big. It has this like really wide collector that goes to. It's a huge robot, and it has a very large area of acquisition. So their note intake is just phenomenal. Like they can pick up a note anywhere within like 6 feet of them. It's fantastic. So very wide intake, goes to an elevator that shoots out either into the speaker or the amp, and just really cool to watch. Absolutely a snub this week. They're probably a top 5 robot in FMA right now, and can't wait to see them compete again.
All right, Justin, who do you got for us?
All right, so I got a team that I hadn't heard of, and fun host Ryan turned me on to, is 3276, the Toolcats.
Toolcats.
And they were at the Great Northern Regional. They seeded 9th, but were picked to the number 2 alliance, and went on to win. And I hadn't. It is a snub. I hadn't heard of them, and unfortunately didn't get to catch many net matches from the Great Northern Regional this weekend. But I watched them. He was absolutely right. They're a phenomenal team. They have consistent autos. They're small, kind of like that, the opposite of some of the larger robots that we've talked about today. But he was absolutely right. 3276. They're awesome and definitely a snub. Certainly worthy of top 50 contention for sure.
All right. Usually for snubs, I wait for everybody else to pick, but I want to immediately pick this team because they are by far a team that should be in the top 25, if not even higher than that. And that is 2974 Walton Robotics. An absolutely phenomenal performance by them. I actually learned some things from chat. I know chat, a couple of people in chat were really hoping to see them as well too. I listened to Justin's recap of the event that they were at PCH Anderson, and wow, this team absolutely cooks. They really deserve to be in the top 25. And something from chat, they said chat was saying they weren't even using like any vision or anything like that, which I had zero clue on, and to me makes this team like, you know, they can go even up higher from where they are as well too. So Walton Robotics, I think is phenomenal. I cannot wait to see more performance. Look at this little machine that could do.
Look how fast it is.
It is so quick. It is just so quick to line and shoot and get cycles in. I absolutely love it. And PCH needs some more love. Some voters. Let's get from our Southeast area. Let's get some more votes in for PCH teams next week because Walton Robotics, I don't think they compete next week. I think they're week 4 off the top of my head. But Walton Robotics definitely deserves some of your attention as well, too. Now I got to look it up when they compete next.
Yeah, week 4.
Yeah, week 4. So, so definitely a team to be on the lookout for. Absolutely 100% deserves to be in the top 25 this week.
Man, look at that thing go.
Yeah, it is so good. So congratulations the 2974 for a phenomenal event, and we can't wait to see how you do week 4.
Love all the robots that can go under the 2016 low bar.
Right?
Them 1690.
Back in my day, that was 2001.
Okay, Tyler.
That's one of the best things about this show, and especially this segment, is just being able to highlight these teams that definitely are snubs. But I just still cannot talk about a boomer quote. I just cannot believe how many events there are. It's so hard to keep track of everything that goes on week to week. So it's a great segment here to talk about some of these teams.
So before we get into our top 5, by the way, always in chat, let us know what your snubs are. If you're watching afterwards on YouTube, put that in chat, or if you want to randomly post on Cheat Delphi, that works too. Either way, let us know what snubs you have for that. But before we do that, let's go ahead and do our giveaway for our friends at Crossroad Electronics. We're giving away a Phoenix Pro license. This is good for either this season if you need it, but they will also make it available for 2025 season as well too. So chicken is the keyword for that. Type that in chat right now. There's a bunch of other keywords and phrases they gave me that are animal sounds that I'm not going to make them right now. But other than that, Crossroad Electronics, get your Phoenix Pro license in. I know so many teams are interested in getting this as well too. So make sure you type in chicken. That's your keyword. We'll be drawing for this after our number 1 team. Which, speaking of which, let's get to our top 5. Who do we have in the number 5 spot?
In that 5 spot is Team 5940 from Redwood City, California. It's Brad, 13-2 overall, and with the winners of the San Francisco Regional. So the first of 3 events for Bread this season started off with a bang. The Bread machine features an inside-the-bumper intake that hands off to a very accurate shooter with speed. Sometimes you just look and you're like, how did they even get the ring? And it's like, boom, in their shooter in no time. Their autos weren't perfect, which should honestly scare everyone else, as this top 5 team still, I believe, has a much, much higher ceiling. So last year on Curie, they made it all the way to the division finals as the number 1 ranked team in that field and carried that momentum into their 2024 season. So their playoff alliance averaged over 100 points, which honestly can only come from great robots playing the game the right way. So congrats on a great start to the season. You can catch them on the field again week 4 at Central Valley. So good luck to 5940 Team Bread.
I love the comment in chat, by the way, from Parkour Dinosaur. Bread didn't cook, they baked. That's great. Bread is so good, right? Like I remember.
Bread is so good.
Yeah, talking to them last year at
Everybody loves
at
bread.
Chessie. Yeah, I mean you're right. They're a universally loved team, right? So
Yep.
I was trying to think of a weird pun. I can't do it. So, but overall, bread is just so good. It's so cool to see the continued success that they've had. And once again, this is a team that in the last couple of years, it's just completely just started to dominate events that they're at and be that top listed team year over year, week after week now here in the FRC top 25. So, congratulations to them and a great performance once again at San Francisco.
No question about it. All right, moving along. In the 4th spot, I've got Team 4481 from Eindhoven, Netherlands. It's the Rembrandts. 25 wins, only 2 losses overall, and with the winners of the Wanami Port and Ventura County Regionals. So 2 for 2 to start the season, making their trip stateside as good as gold. We watched their process all season long during the Open Alliance and have followed their progress these past 2 weeks as they competed in California. Their varied autonomous modes allowed them to play well with all sorts of different auto modes of their partners, which is so advantageous in this game. They also have a quick little climb that rounds out an awesome robot. So congrats to them on a perfect regional season, and there will definitely be a pit that I would encourage everyone to check out in Houston. So good luck to Team 4481, Team Rembrandts. Talk about a team that's pretty well beloved by everyone. Everyone loves the Rembrandts.
Yeah, this is a team that in the first week they competed, Stanford, who did our forecast show, really struggled. That he wasn't sure he put him in a contender with like a 973 or something like that, and didn't pick them in the locks or contenders because you can only pick 4 out of that. And absolutely this year, this was the lock for him coming into to this event. Rembrandts is so good. It's so cool to see how well they're doing. Justin, like you said, we've known Rembrandts for a really long time, and just cool to see their continued success. Think about 2019 when they were like the 3rd robot on Alliance at the World Championship in Detroit, winning that, right? And where they are now, where they are the robot, the number 1 robot and first pick and that sort of thing. This robot's so good. This team is awesome. As mentioned, I think a universally loved team. I agree, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
And I think I want to just a brief aside because I thought about this earlier and I wanted to say it then, but here as well. We still haven't seen, and why I'm excited about Israel, we still haven't seen a finals battle that has really 2 giant contenders going head to head. We haven't had, and I'm sure it's happened. I have not watched all the events, but a 118, 148 final or a Citrus Poofs final. So I'm excited to see that, Rembrandt's obviously kicked some butt this weekend with High Tide. But I haven't seen like two really heavyweight alliances go head to head, so I'm excited to see that in
if only for
Israel.
the autos.
Yeah, right, exactly, right. That's going to be one of the coolest parts of the season that I don't think we've really seen come full swing yet. So that will be fun to see, and no doubt Rembrandt's will be part of that. Okay, so moving on into the top three. In the 3 spot here, I've got Team 1690 from Bini Amina Hazafan, Israel. It's Orbit, 31 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie overall. And with the winners, the ISR District Events 1 and 2. So since COVID, 1690 has dominated the ISR District Events that they've attended, winning ISR 1 and 3 for the past 3 seasons. The robot honestly reminds me of the Tasmanian Devil. It just spins, bounces. It's just like boom, boom, boom from one side of the field to the other, while still maintaining quick cycles. It doesn't really seem to slow them down at all, maintaining a very, very high scoring output. At ISR 3, they're able to double up on their event wins with Bumblebee, who, just like Ari talked about, has built an awesome robot as well. So with a few other incredible teams in Israel, it's going to make for an awesome district championship. And congrats to Orbit on an awesome season so far.
Orbit,
their autos are just stand out from the pack too.
Yeah.
Like they absolutely can run anything and grab from the middle still. Like it doesn't matter what their partner is going to be. They have an auto that complements it, which makes them really, really stand out to me.
Justin, I want to ask you, as a team that is also utilizing like an autonomous teleop, right, where like the robot can do a lot of things itself, which is something that 1690 for the last couple of years has really touted. Can you just talk a little bit more about like what even that process is like to get to that state to do something like that?
So I'm arguably the least qualified person on our team to talk about the programming side of it. But I will say, is our programming team works just as hard, if not harder, than our mechanical team. They're with our last year's robot before this year's robot is built. They work incredibly hard getting the vision system tuned and tested. And honestly, kudos to First. I think First has, with the evolution of the April tags and the amount of April tags in the field, that's honestly what's made these systems possible. Tower, I always think back to the days of trying to use a little white webcam to track a green light on top of the rack in 2007. Like, we had to do some weird stuff, and now there's just so many awesome community projects and First game design features that have enabled teams to do really, really cool things like that. And I think it's only gonna improve. We've got things like Path Planner, and I'm gonna say it wrong because I always want to call it Creo, but I don't know if it is. But there's just really a lot of cool community projects that are going on that are also greatly helping teams do really cool stuff with their robot.
Real quick, I got to tell an old boomer first story here. So you talk about like old vision. In 2006, when they had the green light like right on top of the goal, it was the second year of the Wisconsin Regional that I was emceeing at, and there were behind the green light, there was a giant Mountain Dew sign, and Mountain Dew is also green. So there were several robots that would try to target that light, and ended up targeting the Mountain Dew sign that was like just a little bit behind it, and just a stream of poof balls just getting absolutely thrown out. That's when he mentioned that light from 07. Like, that's exactly what popped in my head, is that memory got unlocked inside.
I also have a great 06-07 story. I think it was 06, but I don't remember the year. But Dave Verbugi was about to do Einstein. I think it was Einstein finals or close to it, but they were having the opening ceremony to the Einstein tournament, I think. And I think he said, or maybe it was even on Friday night, but he said something on the lines of, we're going to switch it up a little bit. The light is going to change from green to red to blue as the match went on. And like, people lost it. He's like, no, I was just kidding. But it was just like one of those things. It was definitely a core memory unlocked. All right. What do we say here? All the drama's in the 2 spot?
All of it.
Drama's in the 2 spot.
All right. In the 2 spot, I've got team 14 from Ventura, California. It's High Tide, 25-3 overall. And with the winners, the Ventura County Regional going undefeated, perfect 15-0 record. So High Tide has consistently been one of the best teams in the world for the past few seasons. And they worked really hard to get the event win this past weekend after falling just short at Wanami Port week 1. High Tide continued to utilize their impressive turret to shoot on the move, which greatly increased their scoring in auto and continued to tally up with ease. This is one of the few teams in FRC, really one of the few teams I've seen certainly on this top 25 that can trap consistently. And this has enabled them to not only this enabled them to be the only team of the 48 in attendance at Ventura to achieve a rank score of over 3. So High Tide gets a nice little break to catch their breath after going week 1-2, and they will hit the field with Tower in Las Vegas week 5. So good luck to 44-14 High Tide. It's good. Week 5 is going to be awesome. That's going to be a great event. Yeah, and a hard thing to do going back to back, right? They didn't. It's not like they had 2 weeks to figure it out, right? They got much better very quickly, which is hard to do.
Oh man, I fell for the muted thing. I'm sorry, everybody. We got to type that in now. Apparently, I was muted on. I was not muted till the correspondence. I was muted on stream. So what I said, I told a story about the Las Vegas Regional. With that said, we'll tell it another time before we get into that. Maybe it was intentional now. Who knows?
Yeah, right. A sign. All right. So to finish us off here, the number 1 team for week 2 FRC Top 25 is team number 2056 from Stony Creek, Ontario, Canada. It's OP Robotics, 17-0, undefeated winners, the Newmarket District event. So OP once again brings a machine to the field that's one of the most consistent, confident-looking robots in FRC. Right off the bat, qualification match 4 came out swinging with a 6-0 auto that looked like the robot had done it 100 times, right, because it had. 2056 is also fast. There's been a few teams, and 2056 is one of them, that when you watch them, I find myself like looking in the video at actual people on the side of the field to make sure that like my video is not like buffering quick, and sometimes it gets that little fast forward effort. So I'm like looking at the guy, the referee, and I'm like, no, he's normal. The robot's just very, very quick. Since COVID, they've lost a total of 8 matches at their district events, which is absolutely wild and just such a crazy streak of consistency. So they're super impressive, and if, like me, you're excited to see them compete again, they will hit the field at McMaster University week 5. So there you have it, the FRC Top 25 for week 2, headlined by 2056 OP Robotics.
8 matches?
Just not kind of provincial champs, but they're district events.
Still single digits.
Yeah.
It might be 2 hands to count on, but it's still a single digit.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they haven't lost any this year either. Like they're very undefeated.
Yeah, they're the model of consistency.
I sent Tyler Holtzman a text a few days ago about things, and I wish him good luck at the event. And I don't know if you know this, but he was not drive coaching at that event. Tyler became a father back in December, so congratulations to Tyler on that. Just want to give you a shout out on air as well too. And I know for those who've been around a long time, Tyler has been a staple behind the glass with many of us over the years as well too. So I don't know if he'll be back again in that, but in general, 2056, congratulations on a phenomenal performance. Tyler, I'm sure you're super proud, even though it can be tough when you're not behind the glass and you got to sit in the stands or watching on the webcast or something like that to not be down there. But congratulations to your entire team. What an incredible robot once again this team has brought.
This robot's design too is just absolutely brilliant. It's 2056 always builds the simplest complicated robot that you could.
Oh yeah.
And this year it's like, why didn't we build that? And it's because 2056 did. I just love how the arm pivots, but the shooter doesn't, and it's a thing of beauty. You love watching it.
I think Ari, I think you nailed it. I think 2056 is like the perennial. Why didn't we build that team? Like it's just they
Yes.
nail it every year.
2056 is a robot's robot because I feel like they're not flashy. They do it, and they do it so well, and you don't want to go up against that robot because they're always so solid. I feel like I always have this like idea that anybody on that team could go and fix that robot because they're
Yep.
just so, I don't know. That's just the culture of that team in my mind. But Justin, would you say it's a robot's robot?
It's a robot's robot. Let me tell
Right.
you.
Got the stamp on it.
It's a robot's robot because it works.
Right.
And that's what put them at the #1 spot this week.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, congratulations to all of our top 25 teams and our top 50 list as well, too, for the week 2. Don't forget to vote at firstupdatesnow.com/FRC top 25 when that voting opens on Sunday afternoons through Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Let's go and draw. We do have a giveaway from our friends at Cross the Road Electronics for that Phoenix Pro license. Once again, Phoenix 6 is the next evolution in software and firmware for supported CTR electronics. So if you win this, go to firstupdatesnow.com/winner. We'll need your email address for that as well, too. Let's go ahead and draw. The winner is going to be Stoic Stimulation. So congratulations for winning the giveaway. Make sure you go to firstupdatesnow.com/winner in order to claim it. Thanks again to CTRE and the 50bot tonight for their awesome giveaways. We have tons of giveaways, by the way, every single week if you're watching either here in the FRC Top 25. We actually have FTC Top 25 tomorrow night. And of course, on Mondays, we have our Roundup, which is our roundtable talk show as well, too. Lots and lots of giveaways from all these suppliers who have stepped up. So thank you to those suppliers who have stepped up as well, too. And thank you to all of you for tuning in and watching either live or offline at youtube.com/firstupdatesnow. Special thanks to all you who clicked that subscribe button. It really does help stay up to date on all First Updates Now content that we have coming out. We have so much of it coming out in all across the programs that we're doing as well, too. And also special thanks to those who help support fun by clicking the YouTube join button. If you're coming over for Twitch, YouTube join is essentially what Twitch subscribing is. 100% of these proceeds go to our content creators as well, too. And on top of that, not only do you get like exclusive emotes, things like that as well, but any videos that we schedule out, because we have to schedule videos, any ones that we do schedule out, you'll get an early access to as well if you are a YouTube member. So go ahead and click that join button for just a few bucks a month and help fun stay loud, live, and independent. We really do appreciate all your support for that on here on Fun. So a couple last things just to go through as well. FRC Top 25 will be back on Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern if you are watching live. And a couple last things as well, too. On here is, good luck to all teams. Thanks to all of our hosts on here, too, Ari, Kristine, and Justin. Thanks to all of our moderators in chat as well. Real quick, we talked about this earlier as well. Ari and Justin, you both are competing this week. Any special shout-outs you want to give before we wrap up here?
Sure. Just tune into URI. We're looking to tear it up, and appreciate if you watch. Looking forward to it, and yeah.
Yeah, and like I said at the top of the show, 3015 will be at Finger Lakes. I'm excited to compete with our friends 870 Rice who are coming up from Long Island, and all the other New York teams that, Kristine's got some 125 swag that...
Well, the Rice is just nice. Like
Rice is nice.
I had never encountered the Rice until last year. The Rice is nice.
Rice is nice. So we're very excited about Finger Lakes. Like I said, it's our home event, and we're pumped to get back on the field.
And you can catch me at the Central Illinois Regional on Thursday and Friday, and also Wisconsin Regional on Saturday. We'll be filming behind the bumpers and some behind the glass at both those. And don't forget, we do have many correspondents all around the FRC world, including one in Australia this week as well, too, that should be doing some interviews. So we are very international now. It is so cool to see all these behind the bumpers content coming in. So that's going to wrap it up for here on Fun. Thanks again to everybody who had tuned in.
Wait, can I give one shout out?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Australia. Shout out to Sarah Heimlich, who won Volunteer of the Year at San Francisco Regional this year. She's living in California now. So yeah, shout out to Sarah Heimlich. Well deserved. She's bringing that Australia FRC energy to California and working really hard over there. So
and her mom is the regional director as well too in California.
Yeah,
but
can't stop, won't stop.
All right, thanks again everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next week on the FRC Top 25. Take care. This video on Fun is brought to you by viewers like you and also in partnership with the following. Discover how Kettering University students engineered their success with Kettering's amazing co-op employment programs where students earn great pay and gain valuable experience. Those accepted into Kettering University can apply for a robotics scholarship, providing up to an additional $5,000 a year in tuition assistance. Head on over to kettering.edu/first to learn more and apply.